So I just got done riding on the bike, and instead of taking a shower, I'm going to share a couple things with you. And talking about love, and yesterday I made the comment to somebody, we're talking about faith, and I said, kind of one of those things, and we all have this, where you go, why do we say that? But I had said that I don't believe in anything. And actually, the whole part of that is I don't believe in anything, I believe in everything. But really, more than anything else, is I believe in love. But go further, is I believe in unconditional love. And I'd like to talk about, in my viewpoint, what's the difference between love, being in love, and unconditional love. So we can love people, and we love all kinds of people. And sometimes we can love people not even like we can not really like them, but we love them like family members, We don't really like them, but we love them. They've been in our lives forever, and we love them. And that's beautiful, and that's wonderful. And, we have people that, especially since, Anthony and Ryan died, I've had all kinds of people that, some people I don't even talk to or don't even know, like, I love you. Well, that's awesome. And that's love. And then there's people that you love that and, there's so many different variances of love. And then there's being in love with someone. And, I've noticed, the one thing that, everybody experiences, everybody have different love languages, and it's really good going to find out what your love language is, and what someone else's love language is a really good thing in terms of communication. But being in love with someone, I remember it was years ago, probably 20 some years ago, and I was sitting at this event. It was a really small event at a friend's house, and there was a guy there that had a near-death experience, and he had been hit by a car, threw 30 feet in the air, landed on his head, and he was out longer than you're supposed to be. They was able to bring him back, and just to hear him was just so fantastic. He said it was the best day of his life, and that he was able to garner so much perspective that, work came and people were like, you got to have this done, you got to have this done, and, wait a second, you're not going to stay after 5? And he'd look at his coworkers and like, I've been dead, beat that. And that kind of is, kind of like with me. I said, once you lose everything, you have nothing to lose. And, my kids dying has really given me more perspective of the importance to live. And through dying, I've learned so much. And to be able to take that and to take every single moment of every day and to be grateful, to have the passion for life. It's like, what are you passionate about? What are you, it's like, well, it's not about job. It's not about what I do. It's life. It's living life. And that at the end of the day, living life is what truly matters to me. But when I saw this guy, and he was telling the story about how much he just loves living life now, and there was a woman that he was sitting in a chair, and she was sitting on the floor, kind of in between his legs, and he had her elbows up on his knees. And I'm like, if she could crawl inside of him, she would. She is so in love with him that it was like, wow. It was just, and it's so interesting that, each relationship is different, but seeing people, it's funny to me. I love seeing elderly people and elderly people holding hands. And I know people are like, oh, this is gross, an elderly person like kissing each other. Are you kidding me? You've been together your entire life and you're kissing each other? Like, if I see two people hitting each other, yeah, I don't like seeing that. But if I see two people kissing, oh my God, that's fantastic that they're expressing love. And I love seeing people that are not only love each other, but are in love with each other. And in love with their children, in love with family, in love with friends. I got an even better one. We can say that we love the people, like, can we really say that we're in love with our customers? We're in love with our clients, our boss, even better, the people that work for us, our subordinates. Are we in love with them? And I don't mean in a romantic way. I don't mean that at all. But what I mean is in a way that we genuinely care for their well-being above and beyond anything that happens within the confines of the sidelines. And then there's the other part, if I may, which is unconditional love. And when I say that where I've come to a place is unconditional love, that's really what I believe in. And what does that look like, and what does that mean? Well, for me is that, there was several years ago, and I'm really glad I found this place when I did. But I was with Anthony and Ryan, and, my kids have had a very different life, I've came when, Anthony was 4 years old and he's doing his homework, and it's like sit there and fight with him of, just doing like the good parent of, I love you, so I want to make sure that you get good grades because I love you. And then I realized that the more that I'm trying to have him get good grades, it's not about him, it's about me. And I remember just like distinctively going, okay, this is you. If you get an A, I love you. If you get an F, I love you, but it's on you. And a couple years ago, I realized I'm no longer a parent. My job's done. They're over 18. They're adults. I've done the best I can. They're adults. And I wish I would have known this. Is the one thing I wish I would have known out of the womb, that there's only 3 words that really matter in life to me. I love you, I support you, I'm proud of you. And to me, that's the unconditional love. Like, okay, well, hey, I just did this, and oh my God, I feel terrible. Oh my gosh, I screwed up bad. I love you, I support you, and I'm proud of you, because it's not about me. It's about you. It's your life. It's not mine. And, for me, what unconditional love means is the more unconditional is, the less conditions there are. I love you, but, you're this or that, or, it's funny because I use the example of, with Shyster, is that, and we've all done this, and believe me, so have I. We've all done things where, like with Shyster. So Shyster's a pit bull, or was a pit bull. Was, because he's now passed on or died or whatever, works for you. But Shyster is no longer with us. But when people would see Shyster and any, around going for walks, and they'd be like, oh my God, he's such a great dog, he's so nice, and this and this, and then all of a sudden it would be, so what kind of dog is that? Oh, he's a pit bull. We got to walk on the other side of the road. Did Shyster change, or did your perspective of Shyster change based upon a pre-existing paradigm, a pre-existing condition of not seeing Shyster as who Shyster is, who, by the way, is the nicest dog ever, who showed no aggression whatsoever, and was loving to everything and everyone. But nobody saw that, because once you have that label, then all of a sudden that label becomes more important than what, who he is. So for me, I really love seeing, and one of the things I love is that how much on both ends of the spectrum, you know, you see through death. And through death is that, and the beauty of tragedy, the beauty of when we have such really difficult moments, we set aside our differences. We've seen this, and we got to come together. We got to be strong. We all got to come together as a community. When it comes to hurricanes, the bigger the hurricane, the more people gather together after and have barbecues. And then what happens the day that electricity's been restored, the way that life comes back to the normal? We don't just go back to the way we were, we revert back to our patterns. So if we didn't say hi, we don't say hi. Like, we've had these like really intimate moments where we shared in candlelight, and we broke bread together, and then we go back to going, I don't need to say hi to them. But I think that what's so beautiful is being able to utilize these moments for matters of perspective, that it's not about why do we have to wait for near-death experiences? Why do we have to wait for tragedy to live and to love and to be in love and to love unconditionally? And my other principle that goes off this is unconditional gratitude of everyone, of everything. So I'm certainly not grateful that my kids have died, but I'm unconditionally grateful for the time I've had with my children in the exact time and space that they did. It's not me to determine why. It's not to determine how. It's not me to determine anything. It's for me to have full acceptance and gratitude of the people and love them. And I can tell you, the day that both of them died on their respective, in my mind, the first thing I thought of is, I love you, I support you, and I'm proud of you. That does not change. And it's that, what on the opposite side, and what I think is so beautiful, is that when you see a parent of a newborn child and you see how it's like, oh my gosh, that is perfect, this baby is perfect. And then pretty soon it's like, well, by the way, you're not this, you're not this, you're not this, and we're going to put labels on you this. And I remember once when Anthony was in junior high, and his teacher called me and said, Anthony's kind of the lazy type. And I'm like, whoa, back up. Don't ever call him lazy again. I didn't call him lazy. I called him the lazy type. No, he's not lazy type. You get him to go up fishing, and he's going to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He wants to go to a concert, he'll be up. It's that there's nothing inspiring in your classroom that gets him to want to be motivated to do it. It's not an interest to him. He's not passionate about that. Part of that is our community is, we all have a place in that. It's not just the teacher, it's all of us. We're a collective of, all of us in that. And really, I think that's, my point is how we can get, and really living not as much in a literal world where we're not going to have unconditional love towards everyone. We're not going to be unconditionally grateful for everyone and everything equally. But what if we strived for more unconditional love and less conditions? So for me, is that the basis, and I'll leave you with this. Unconditional love. If you unconditionally love someone, so the basis of love is I love them and I want them to be with me. Unconditional love is I love them whether they're with me or they're not. Because unconditional love, I want them to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. I want them to have joy in their life. I want them to be so successful. And if the basis for me and is that if we really are unconditionally loving for someone, is we just want to see them happy, healthy, and wealthy. We want to see them thriving and successful. We don't want to see them in pain. We don't want to see them hurt. We don't want to see them sick And I mean sickness of drugs, self-sabotage, doing things to be hurtful for themselves physically, emotionally, financially, sexually, of putting situations that are not for the higher good of themselves and for others, and if not hurting themselves, hurting other people. If you unconditionally love someone, how can you hurt them? And kind of the final one is that, and I say this a lot, but one of the things that I really learned unconditional love was when Ryan was in the juvenile detention center. And one of the things I want to do is speak at the juvenile detention center, because, when I was there, every Saturday night there would be the priests come by, and it'd be volunteers, only the children that wanted to, see him did, but he'd come to the parents, and, it is such a weird place. You go in there and everything's stone. It's as cold in so many different ways. There's no windows. There's no paint on the walls. Everything's bolted down. I mean, the walls are super thick and everything's boom. It's just so cold. And here comes in this, and he's an older gentleman, and here comes in this older gentleman. He's the priest, and he comes to me and he's, "Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I see Jesus in their eyes. I see Jesus in their eyes." And I just love that. He didn't see them as a kid, a troubled kid. He didn't see them as a gang member. He didn't see them as an inmate. He didn't see them as a troubled kid. He didn't see them as anything that they did. He just saw them in their higher good of the unconditional love of, I see just Jesus in their eyes. And so every day I try to add value to my life and to the life of others, of how can I better exemplify unconditional love, love in love, and unconditional love. Needless to say, I, like the rest of the world, have a long ways to go. I think that that's why those of us that are fortunate enough to have an extra day around the sun, that it gives us an opportunity to love more, to be kinder, to be nicer, to be better human beings. So I wish you unconditional love. I wish you happiness, health, wealth, success, whatever that means for you. And let's just have a beautiful day.